Hello everybody. My name is Dharmesh Dyer, and this is Mortimer Williams, my co-pilot, and this is Weather Vibes.
Greetings and welcome to Weather Vibes, the chat show that uses weather as a conversation starter. Now, in previous episodes, we explored how weather finds its way into casual conversations, how it affects our mood or even our behavior.
Mortimer, I can actually attest to that. We talk about weather all the time, and it actually affects the chapters in my adventure book.
Speaking of adventure, what are you wearing?
Well, this is my flight suit, and how do you know somebody's a pilot?
They tell you?
Well, the story here is the wild coast. The weather was indeed wild, so we couldn't go flying, but I thought, let me put on this flight suit just to impress you.
Actually, to tell everyone that you're a pilot.
Well, the adventure's in my eye.
Well, the adventure in your eye is not going to help you during the quiz, but more about that later.
And also in the show, we are going to interview an intrepid adventurer all the way from the Eastern Cape.
Right, it's about that time to start the quiz, but before we get there, our quiz master has another riddle for the audience. And if you missed our previous episodes, you can check us out online to play along. You might even find a clue.
Right, Mortimer, let's do this.
Let's do this.
As always, may the best man win. Psh. Songs about the weather.
Songs about the weather. Cool.
I'm going to give you a clue.
Clue.
Artist, Vanessa Williams. Anything about the weather?
Songs about the weather.
Something that blows? What do you call a rainbow?
Colors of the wind.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Number 2.
Yes.
Katrina and the waves.
Walking on sunshine.
Oh, come on.
Boom.
Just give me, can you give me a break?
Come on, I'm on a roll.
Number 3. Number 3.
Yes.
Zoe. That's all I'm going to give you. That's all I'm going to give you because you're an artist.
Zoe Kravitz. What?
Zoe.
Zoe. Come, give me more. You got to give me more.
When the sun is out, what is it pushing on?
What is it pushing on?
When it's cloudy,
Yeah?
what's falling out of the sky?
Rain.
Rainy day? That's all I'm giving
Rainy
you.
days and Monday. Rainy days what?
What's the opposite of a rainy day? What's out there?
Sunny. Sunny days.
Almost? No, you lose that one.
Okay, fine.
Oh, Prince, you've got to get this
Purple
one.
rain.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so you got 0 out of 4.
His maths sucks. How could
My
you be a
maths is
pilot?
pretty good.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
so how
so-
many did I get?
You got
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
Okay, cool. What was the answer for the Zoe?
Sunshine on a rainy day.
Oh my word.
You said
sun
sun on a
pushes,
rainy
the sun pushes. Oh,
You've got to keep up with me. I'm a product of
You suck. Okay.
family show. Family
yeah,
show.
I know. Okay. Okay, you're terrible. Terrible. Okay. Songs about the weather.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yes! Okay. The artist is Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. That's the
Bob-
answer.
No, that's your clue. Bob Dylan. The answer is where's
Where's the rainbow?
Where's the answer?
Ah, Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan.
And the answer, my friend, is
Blowing in the wind.
yes.
There we go.
We go.
So I got 4 out of 5.
No, yeah. No, well.
So who wins this round? I think. I mean, it's got to be me.
So you got how many out of 5?
5 out of 5.
2. You've got 2.
Losers be haters.
Okay, but this is what you get only on Weather Vibes.
Weather vibes.
So for those of you who missed me annihilate Dharmesh in previous episodes, you can check us out online if you enjoy that kind of torture.
But for my reprieve, I'm going to take you and the audience on a magical adventure in the Eastern Cape. Hashtag visit Eastern Cape. So folks, I am super excited today on Weather Vibes. We have got an adventurer from my backyard, Camillus Fourie. Camillus, you're looking good in studio.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. Now, tell us about yourself and this adventure lifestyle that you've got going.
Just an easygoing guy. Love adventure. Love trying new things. When people tell me you can't, then I obviously want to prove them wrong.
Now tell us about some of these adventures that you've been on that we hear so much about.
Where do I start?
Where do you start? Why don't we start with these? I think, what are these metals here? Look at this.
Yeah, they're real, by the way.
They're not chocolate.
They're not chocolate, yeah. I've done over 100 marathons already in my lifetime.
Not one after the other. I'm assuming you've taken a break between
I think
them.
the most I've done in my life was about 11 in 1 year.
11 marathons in 1 year.
There's a challenge where they say when you're running comrades, you got to do 1,000 kilometers in a year. So it's from comrades to comrades. So I did comrades June, and then the following year June again. But in between, I did 2 oceans, and I did about 9 or 10 other marathons. But needless to say, the second comrades marathon was just too much because I just ran too much. I was overfit actually.
So what are you going to do now in future? Obviously with weather and climate changing and these marathons, and there's no water sometimes at these points. How is that going to affect you?
Funny enough, when there was a water shortage, I think it was 2017 or 2018, when there was a water shortage, and they actually encouraged us to have these little packs with us, and you actually have to take a sip, just a sip. It was good, but obviously because of water restrictions, we couldn't have as much water as we wanted to
That's
have.
actually amazing how the weather and climate is starting to affect adventurers and how we do things, eh? A bit of mountain climbing, I believe, is also in the background here.
Yeah, there's a place called the Kloof in PE, where you sort of do, it's like a trail run sort of hike. I did that. And then the traveling bug hit me, and I wanted to do Kili so badly. And then I got some people together, and we went to Kilimanjaro, and it was quite an experience because I ran a marathon there as well.
It's absolutely amazing because I remember climbing Kili in 2007, and the reason I went up there was to see the glaciers before they melted. So you can imagine how climate change is changing literally the face of mountains. So you've been trail running, you've been up. Now I believe you've also been under the ocean as well. When do we stop you?
You're not going to stop me, because I think one of the things that inspired me was when I had a daughter. And when you see other parents with their kids, they look like they're tired all the time with their kids, and they always complain about their kids that wants attention all the time with a lot of energy. So I just decided, I think it was 2008, 2009, I decided, hey, look, let me start running a bit. And I got into marathons. Then I started climbing a bit, and then I had an opportunity of going to Durban. There was an event in Durban. I ran a marathon in Durban as well, and then we were given the opportunity to climb up the Durban stadium, soccer stadium. And the funny thing is, when we got up the stadium, the guy was saying there was like 476 stairs. So I'm chatting away, I'm laughing and chatting. We're going up the stairs, and I'm like, guys, when are we gonna actually get to the top of this stadium? We get to the top. These guys are wearing balaclavas now. Everybody's silent, and I'm getting like nervous and stuff. Because I'm like, but guys, we were talking the whole time because that was the thing that actually got me sort of excited and not scared. One of my friends actually walked back and he said he's not going to do this because it became too high for him after like 300 steps. And when I got to the top, the guys put a cable on my waist, and the guys were like not laughing at all with me. They were quiet, and I'm like, no, this is a big mistake. So the guys were like, hey, no laughing, and we're gonna count to 3. We're gonna count to 3, and then we're gonna push you, and then you're gonna jump. And when you go down, you pull the cable, just to give you a bit of stability. So the guys go 1, 2, and they just push me, and I'm like, and I'm pulling. And as I'm pulling for a few seconds, I'm thinking, I'm gonna die because I can't feel the cord anymore. And like I just fell, and I just felt the thing yank, and I was like quiet the whole time. But the funny thing was when they sort of got me up, it was like so quiet and so boring. When I got up there, it was like, wow, guys, why didn't you tell me this? And they just said, no, we were just joking with you. Because I remember at one stage, one guy said to me, oh, the cable, we didn't tie it properly yesterday. And, but I mean, obviously, I still survived. That's why I'm still here.
You survived, obviously, and... But shark cage diving, have you done that?
Yes, I did. The same trip.
So you ran a marathon. You went up the stadium. You jumped off, and then you went under the ocean.
And it was exciting because you got this container that you're underneath in. You sort of, they give you goggles. You go underneath. You hold on and you breathe. And around in your container in the water, like there's people around there, so they can actually see the sharks as well. And they can see you, and people like waving at me, and they're asking me for my K. I go up again for air, and I come down again. It was the craziest thing to see. And then what we did after that, they asked us if we want to swim with sharks. And I was like, what? Okay. And they were like saying, no, it's baby sharks. So I actually swam past baby sharks and stuff.
Have you got a death wish?
So when one of the scuba divers told me they don't bite people when they're in the water unless they look like seals. That's why they actually attack surfers, because surfers look like seals or turtles that's in the water. But for me, fortunately, it was small sharks. Okay, small. If I'm saying small, it's
Fishermen,
like
small,
a meter and a half to, but it was like small, man, you know. And they were like just minding their own business, and I was doing my own business as well, and it was amazing. It was an absolutely amazing experience to do that in Durban, you know.
So you've had all of these great adventures. Now I'm going to put you on the spot now. If you had to choose one or two, that would be the opening chapters in your book of adventures. What is it going to be?
It's going to have to be a toss-up between shark cage diving and the bungee jumping, purely because it was just the unknown, you know. I was very excited to do the bungee jumping, but I was also scared at the same time, because you've heard the horror stories about people, the cables are not tied properly, or they've been pushed down too early, whatever the case may be. And with shark cage diving, you watch movies, and unfortunately movies sometimes, to sort of enhance the story or to create that vibe, they show a shark tank breaking or a shark actually biting the cage. But for me, it was an unknown adventure. I really wanted to do it. I wanted to experience it, and it was probably the most crazy experience ever. And I would advise anybody. I mean, if you're in Durban, there's so much to do in Durban. You know, you can go hike, you can go run. Drakensberg is not far from there. Sharka Marina is there with the shark cage diving and the swimming with the sharks, and then also the bungee jumping, which is amazing. I mean, I got a certificate actually to show that I've actually done the bungee jumping.
I'm sure Durban and KwaZulu-Natal has got a lot. But remember, Eastern Cape, where we're from, the wild coast, there's a lot to do there as well.
That's why I got my passion for running, funny enough. That's why I started my first marathon. I weighed probably about 110, 115 kgs. That was 2009. And then I decided to run a marathon. I never trained anything, nothing. I just decided to buy some tackies, shorts, and run the marathon.
When you say marathon, what is it?
42 kilometers.
42 kilometers without training.
The dumbest idea ever. Because I would run 5 or 10 Ks, and that was fine. But when I ran the marathon the first time, it took me, fortunately there was an 8-hour cut-off time. So it took me 7.5 hours to run my first marathon ever. But obviously after that I improved.
Of course.
And I ran 4 hours in under 4 hours. But yeah, PE is a nice place. There's a lot of trail runs in PE. But obviously Eastern Cape spreads from PE to Umtata. And I've done trail runs there as well at Hogsback, which is amazing. They talk about Christmas in June.
There we go.
Hogsback.
Beautiful place.
That's an amazing adventure. They talk about Tsitsikamma when you go down to Cape Town side, the Western Cape side. There's Tsitsikamma there as well. I've done some trails there as well. I've done water tubing as well, black water tubing I've done as well. Forgot about that.
We need a whole show just for you.
Yeah, because I mean everybody always talks about things, and you know when you're a kid, you see things on television, and you tell yourself, look, I want to experience these things one day in my life. And when you have the opportunity, or you're fortunate enough to do that, then you can do that. A lot of these things that people do, like adventures and hiking, you can do without money. I mean, you don't have to have a lot of money to do that. And I think that's a beauty part of South Africa, the fact that you are able to drive to Cape Town, or you can drive to Durban, or you can drive to Tsitsikamma, for example, you know. There's so much to see in this beautiful country. But to compare it with other parts of the world, you'll see that South Africa is like head and shoulders above everybody, because of the people, because of the adventure, because of just the atmosphere. Because I mean, there's no place like home.
Yeah.
And there's no place where you can't not sort of experience an adventure.
Absolutely, local tourism, local adventure.
Oh my word, yes.
That's where it's happening.
Definitely.
The weather is changing. The climate is changing. How does that affect us adventurers? Where you go, when you go, how you do it, if you can do it. How is weather impacting your adventurous lifestyle?
I think if you're going to Drakensberg, you want it to be cold because you want to see the snow on the mountains. If you're running a race, you want it to be decent weather. It mustn't be too hot or too cold. Interesting story, when I ran the Two Oceans Marathon, I think it was my third or my fourth one when I ran. So you start at Wynberg and then you finish at UCT. So when we got into the stadium, it was raining the whole race. We got into the stadium, and as I ran to the finish line, my one techie got stuck. There's actually a photo on the on the website somewhere where my foot got stuck, and when I pulled my foot out, my techie stayed in. The guy's like, go, go, go. And I just ran over the finish line, and eventually later on I had to go and fetch my techie.
So we're blaming that on climate change.
We're blaming that on a lot of conditions, yeah.
So the rule is leave no shoe behind. You know?
Or no stone unturned.
No stone unturned.
Yeah, because I mean Cape Town is beautiful. The weather's awesome, but it's also sometimes it's a bit you don't know. Like when you're running Cape Town Marathon, it can either be hot or sort of very cold. But two oceans, you're running 56 kilometers, so it's about 14 extra kilometers, and you go up Cheppies Mountain or Cheppies Peak. Then it becomes a bit weird because now that's where the two oceans meet. Mm-hmm. And as you go up that mountain, when it rains, it is just unbearable. When the wind blows, it's unbearable. When the sun shines, it's unbearable because the waves, you can actually hear the waves. It's so loud that you can actually hear the waves when you're running up.
That's absolutely beautiful. So the point is, no matter what the weather or the climate, you go out and you adventure and you have a great time. So when you're not getting these medals and you're not climbing and you're not doing crazy things, what are you sitting down to eat? Favorite food?
Favorite food, seafood.
When you say seafood, you mean one of those diets where you see food and you eat it?
Well, almost there. But I would say I love calamari, but prawns is my kryptonite. Eh?
High in cholesterol, though, eh?
I heard so, but I was quite
You can
surprised.
work it off. You can run it off. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but I love prawns quite a bit. I don't know why. I've tried everything seafood. Calamari, obviously, which is quite a popular dish. Mm-hmm. You find it all the seafood shops. Hike, snook, you find a lot.
So now all these adventures you go to, Durban, for example, do you drive or fly? What's your mode of transport?
It depends. I suppose if you got time on your hands, obviously, I would suggest driving to Durban.
So I'm just saying, whenever you go anywhere in South Africa, you have to go via the Eastern Cape. It's the place to be.
You have to go via the Eastern Cape. There's no way that you can't go to the Eastern Cape.
It's your home.
It's my home, yeah, as well.
Favorite season?
Winter.
Don't say salt or pepper. Your favorite season?
I was going to say Himalayan salt, no, I'm joking. My favorite season, definitely winter, because there's a lot more you can do. You can actually cover yourself with blankets in winter. The sun doesn't come out that much, and if it does, it's only for a few hours. So it's ideal weather to actually train for me in winter.
We could sit and talk for hours.
Man,
it's absolute pleasure having you here. We're definitely going to be following you on social media. I know you're going to great heights, maybe even lower heights under the ocean. We're definitely going to be following you, and it's such an inspiration to see and to talk to somebody like you. Regardless of the weather, you're going out to make it happen.
I have to do it.
Absolutely. No, it's been an absolute pleasure. COVID rules.
6 feet apart.
6 feet apart. Folks, there you go. I know I'm feeling excited. If you're sitting at home and you want to get into adventure, start small, like you said. Really, no matter what the weather, no matter what the climate, go out and experience it. Stay tuned right here on Weather Vibes. Just 160 kilometers from Port St. John's via Umtata on the R61, the scenic drive will bring you to the famous Hole in the Wall. The town is a real beachcomber country, peppered with distinctive round traditional huts, made largely from car tires and colored bottles. Coffee Bay, so make sure you enjoy the coffee and the great food. But the main attraction is this, the hole in the wall. Interesting story of how the name came about. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. A fair maiden who lived on land fell in love with somebody from the water people, so she went to the ocean. Her father pulled her back on land. The water people were quite upset, so they used a big fish to break a hole in the wall. Hence the story. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. But what is true is that this is absolutely magnificent. Folks, I give you the Eastern Cape. hole in the wall. Welcome, my fellow travelers, to a beautiful town on the wild coast called Coffee Bay. Coffee Bay was given its name after a ship lost its cargo of coffee bean in a wreck off the wild coast, and the beans were supposedly washed up on the beach to germinate there. A vegetarian pizza right here at Sea Breeze in Coffee Bay. Now I know my director Selo loves this kind of food. Selo, get from behind the camera and in front of the camera with me. Don't be shy, don't be shy. There you go. Take the mask off.
Yeah.
Selo, this pizza looks good, but I saw you smiling when we saw the hole in the wall today. Tell me about that.
Man, that place, it is amazing.
Really?
It is amazing.
Are you coming back now?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I like to bring my family.
Bringing the family, is that because they're going to help pay for the pizza, or they're going to hold your hand as we're going on top? Because I saw you were a bit scared there.
No, I was a bit scared, you know. Heights are very scary.
This is the adventure province. There's heights, there's lows, there's rivers, there's all sorts of things. Let's get stuck in here and we'll carry on with another adventure another day.
Okay, cool, man.
Great, great, great.
All right.
It's going to be good.
All right, let's see.
Cheers, eh? Wow, thank you so much, man. It looks delicious. Folks, I tell you today, what a great day. We're here at Coffee Bay. We went to Hole in the Wall, and I'm sure you've all seen pictures of it. It looks amazing, but it's even better when you come and see it for yourself in the Eastern Cape. Right now, it's time for some sushi. We're here at Sunset Sushi Bar and Grill, and I tell you what, it's one thing adventuring in the mountains, it's another thing adventuring with sushi. So go out there, have a great time, and don't forget, visit us here in the Eastern Cape. Cheers. Hashtag visit Eastern Cape.
I am in awe. Wow, it just makes me feel like I want to pack up the family, get in the car, and just hit the road.
Agreed, Mortimer, but it's not all beauty and adventure. You know, less than a kilometer from the beautiful Hole in the Wall, there's poverty, and the contrast is glaring. It really is.
Dharmesh, it is said that there are very few monkeys left in the villages because people have resorted to actually consuming them as a source of food.
That's indeed the case. It was quite shocking. Most of the villages we went to, you could see monkeys, but in this particular village, there were no monkeys because the locals were actually eating the monkeys to stay alive. It is truly a heartbreaking situation.
See, on Weather Vibes, it's not all fun and games. Reality does set in now and again. But that's what you get, only on Weather Vibes.